And because today is World Mental Health Day, and of course the whole month we look at World Mental Health as well, we are going to be talking about that this morning and right about now. And on the line we do have with us Dionne Mundy, who's a therapeutic counselor of the DHW, let me just say the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection of the THA. So good morning to you, Mr. Mundy.
Hi, good morning, and thank you for having me this morning.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you because we need to talk about this. We need to continue these conversations. We need to have these conversations, and we need to basically educate people on exactly what mental health is, so that they understand what it is and they don't go away with, the mindsets that they may have had in the past. So I'm glad that you're here with us this morning to tell us all about mental health. And as we get into that, first question that we need to answer: what is mental health and why is it so important?
Okay, so mental health, really and truly, when we hear the theme of mental health, it includes our emotional, our social, our psychological well-being, which really and truly affects how we feel, how we think, how we act. When we think about good mental health, it is really and truly a state of well-being in which an individual realizes their own abilities, their strengths, their capabilities. They can cope with the normal stresses of life. And when we think about stresses, we think about everything, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, because even the birth of a child can cause significant stress. A promotion in your job place can cause a stress. It's good, but yes, it causes some level of stress. And we have to be able to tap into our innate skills and abilities to help us cope with various challenges that we experience throughout our daily lives.
What can you say, people who may think that they're under some sort of stress, some sort of mental health issue, would you say are some of the challenges that persons can experience while attempting to access mental health? Because it's important that we have access to it.
Right. So I believe that the first thing that really and truly prevents individuals from accessing mental health or helping or accessing professional assistance will be the stigma that is attached to getting therapeutic intervention or counseling or going to a psychologist or psychiatrist or any form of mental health practitioner. Just because we were trained and we were brought up in a specific way, thinking that when we hear mental health, we automatically think we're crazy.
Yeah.
All right. But we have to understand that mental health is really and truly on a continuum. And any one of us can find ourselves on one end of that continuum, all the way to, which is on the good side of the mental health spectrum. And then we can find ourselves even on the extreme end. And so we must take the necessary proactive measures to help mitigate against moving along the continuum, moving into a place of poor or degrading mental health. So I believe it's stigma for one, that prevents persons from accessing mental health. Yeah.
Because, as you mentioned, we've been brought up as in a society where people say, if you have some mental health issue, you're mad. They need to go St. Anne's.
Right.
And we need to get away
Right.
from that
Correct.
stigma because it's much greater than
Correct.
that. What would you
Correct.
say?
Exactly.
What would you say are some of the most common types of mental health disorders that you're finding nowadays? And can you pinpoint what might be contributing to that? Because I know COVID would have had a significant impact on people, but are there other issues as well coming out of that you're finding that people are coming in with now?
So specifically as it relates, as you mentioned, COVID, specifically as it relates to the Tobago population, we have been experiencing or encountering a significant increase in challenges when it comes to children and adolescents who would have missed a couple of years of their ability to socialize and interact with their peers. Because, due to COVID, we were restricted. We were at a time where there was work from home, there was remote learning, and so on. So we realized that a significant amount of children are presenting with challenges as it relates to behavior and emotional regulation, the inability to relate to their peers or to their families or to each other. Coming out of that, we also see an increase in various types of anxiety disorders. Persons are unable to cope with their challenges. We also see what we call MDD or major depressive disorders, and other types of mood related disorders. And attached to that, we have a lot of suicidal ideation, persons who are unable to cope with their financial situation, with their home challenges, with their work situations. And because of the pressures and the challenges and other external factors that further compound the situation, they find themselves, as we first indicated, on that end of the continuum or spectrum. And so we've seen a lot of that emerging, especially on the island of Tobago.
And as you mentioned Tobago, how open are Tobagonians to access service?
Well, throughout the pandemic, the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection and the Community Mediation Center has really and truly ramped up a drive whereby we try to win the trust of Tobagonians because, as we all know, generally speaking, there is a lack of trust in the services and the mental health professionals on the island. And we truly tried to remove the stigmatization. We tried to really and truly give back that level of trust that people can have in the therapists on the island. And so we find a lot more citizens are accessing and are openly coming forward. For example, we have a counseling support hotline, and usually that's going off on a daily basis because people are realizing the need for additional professional support. And so they are coming out, instead of remaining behind the closed doors, they are now coming out in hopes of getting some level of assistance to deal with their day to day challenges.
Well, I'm glad to hear that that's happening because people are really hesitant at times, to come out and say, like, I need some help. I'm not getting through this. I'm struggling through this. It's affecting my behavior. It's affecting my home life. It's affecting, my work life. I need to get some help to get through, even if it's
Correct.
one day. So I'm glad that that's happening. How though? Because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tobago has a slightly different access to with the Ministry of Social Services than we do. So exactly what are the services? Because you did mention it, and how can one access it?
Right. So within the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, we at the Community Mediation Center, we have what we call a counseling support hotline, whereby persons, so now this counseling support hotline has been advertised, and that has been advertised throughout the length and breadth of Tobago. And persons are able to call us between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. to schedule an appointment with a therapist. They can also walk into the building, which is located at Montessori Drive in Glen Road in Scarborough, whereby they come to the fourth floor and they can access, for example, if they need immediate assistance or if they need to schedule an appointment. We also have the Scarborough Mental Health Clinic that offers accident and emergency intervention. So, for example, you feel as though you're at a place where you would like to harm yourself or you are extremely depressed, you go to the Scarborough Mental Health unit and they will advise one of the psychiatrists on board to see you immediately. And if there is need for medication, you are treated with immediate effect. So those are the areas in which, and we also have the Child and Adolescent Center, where children have access to mental health care, whereby we have a psychologist and a psychiatrist who will do intermittent intervention for children who require intervention with as it relates to medication, and who which require a day-to-day, how should we say, oversight into helping them manage their challenges.
Okay, fantastic. Now, something that's fun that you guys are doing, the Division of Health, Wellness, and Social Protection of the THA. It's an event called, very appropriately, Mind Games. Tell us about this event.
So mind games, it's really and truly a day. It's an opportunity in observance of World Mental Health Day. It's an opportunity for us to raise first awareness. Yeah, that's the key. That's the goal of the activity, to raise awareness and to bring people to a place of understanding that we all need someone at some point of time in our lives. And so the Community Mediation Center decided to embark upon this venture, whereby where it's open to not just the staff of the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, but also to the public, whereby they can come in on the first floor and they have access to games between the hours of 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. So we have games such as Uno, we have Jenga, Snakes and Ladders, Dominoes, and yes, we have all fours. So if you are skilled in all fours, which I'm not skilled in, my father is very skilled in that. Hopefully, I would have learned something from him over the years. But if you are skilled in all fours, bring your team out, register. There are prizes to be won. It's a day for us to relax. We also have guided meditation that are 5 minute segments whereby the intercom will play something for the staff to learn how to relax and to relieve their stress.
All right. Well, I'm with you with that one on all fours. Same here. My father, very skilled at it. I did not pick it up, unfortunately. So we're good on that
Unfortunately.
one. But so this is happening today for World Mental Health Day, open to the public, as you mentioned.
Yes,
So
it
many
is.
different games
Yes.
that are being taking place. And you say it's to participate in a 3 hour long relaxation period. So you take three
Correct.
hours out of your day and you come in and you
Yes.
just de-stress.
Yeah, so you just unwind, because sometimes one of the things that we see happening is persons are struggling to cope with daily stresses, the regular things that everyone goes through, traffic, for example,
Mm-mm.
the birth of a child, as I said, an increased a promotion in their job, daily stresses that come with the daily life, with our daily lives, and so it's a time for us to unwind. It's a time for us to relax. It's a time for us to laugh. It's a time for us to, spend time in each other's company. And it's a time also to find support. So you are able to come. There's a booth where you can assess your stress levels or your anxiety levels, and you can decide whether or not you need that extra boost or that extra support from one of our professionals.
Well, I'll tell you one way I can definitely do that. Find myself in Tobago on a beach and just stay there for the whole day. That's how I will do it.
Yes, please.
Ah,
Please come. Please
Miss-
come. We welcome you with open arms.
Thank you. Mr. Mundy, Dionne Mundy, thank you so very much for sharing this information with us on World Mental Health Day. Of course, the Therapeutic Counsellor Division of Health, Wellness and Special Protection of the THA. Thank you, and I wish you a profitable day today, a stress-free day today. Relax.
Thank you
Try to
so
learn
much.
some
Yes,
all fours. Don't get too stressed out with it. And I'll do the same
I
on my
won't.
side. So have a great day.
You too. Thank you for
Thank you.
having me. Take care.
It's a pleasure. And on that note, as I think about Tobago and de-stress myself, we take a short break and we're going to come right back.